We've all joked about it. Leonardo DiCaprio dates young models and mysteriously breaks up with them when they hit 25. It becomes so predictable, people made charts about it. But what if we've been looking at it the wrong way? Because, yes, Leo's pattern is consistent, but what happens to the women after they leave Leo? That's the part no one talks about. Real talk, they win. They land movie roles, magazine covers, business deals. They move from rising model or actress to full-blown Hollywood name, and fast. So maybe it's not just Leo who's benefiting from these relationships. Maybe, just maybe, the women are playing the game better than we thought. Let's break down this Leo effect, the rise, the fame, the glow up, and stick around because by the end of the video, we'll see how this pattern has evolved over 2 decades, and just maybe discover if someone has finally cracked the code to Leo's dating patterns while rewriting the playbook the women before her have perfected. When people talk about Leonardo DiCaprio's dating history, they almost always start with Gisele Bündchen. And for good reason. Their relationship wasn't just another chapter. It was the prototype for every single one that came after. Back in 2000, Leo had just stepped off the global phenomenon that was Titanic. He was 25 years old, adored by millions, and the most eligible bachelor in Hollywood. Gisele, she was only 19, a promising model from Brazil beginning to turn heads in the fashion world. She had walked a few runways, done a few campaigns, but she wasn't a household name. Not yet. Then came Leo. Their relationship lasted 6 years, long by Leo's standards, and during that time, Gisele's career exploded. In fact, many people forgot just how quickly she ascended during her years with him. She became the face of Victoria's Secret, landing the most coveted angel contract in modeling. By the mid-2000s, she was earning more than any other model in the world, a title she would hold for more than a decade. Gisele wasn't just modeling anymore, she was building a brand. Now, to be fair, Gisele is insanely talented. Even without Leo, she likely would have made it big. But it's hard to ignore how being seen on the arm of the world's biggest actor gave her a platform that very few models ever get access to. Paparazzi followed them everywhere. Magazines printed their photos across covers. People wanted to know who Gisele was, and once they knew, she did the rest. But what made this relationship stand out and why it's remembered as the blueprint is how serious it got. This wasn't a quick fling or a vacation romance. Leo brought Gisele to red carpet premieres. They vacationed with his mom. And in 2005, when he was nominated for The Aviator, Gisele became the only woman he ever brought as a date to the Oscars. That's a huge deal. Leo, who's famously private and usually attends award shows with his mother, broke his own pattern. So what went wrong? Some say Gisele grew out of him. In her memoir, she hints that the relationship no longer aligned with the kind of life she wanted to live. She was on a health journey, getting into yoga and clean living. Leo at the time was still very much in the Hollywood party scene. As she put it, was I alone in wanting to do some serious soul searching while he stayed the same? In the end, unfortunately, the answer was yes. They broke up in 2005, shortly after Gisele turned 25, and just like that, the pattern was born. But while Gisele was the prototype for what dating Leonardo DiCaprio could do for a career, Bar Raffaele was the first real proof that the formula worked. Because what happened next only solidified the blueprint. Bar Raffaele was already well known in her home country of Israel when she met Leo in 2005. She had done catalog work, magazine shoots, and even some television. But outside of the Israeli fashion scene, her name didn't hold much weight. That all changed the moment she was spotted with Leonardo DiCaprio. They met at a U2 concert in Las Vegas, casual for most, but this was 2005 Leo. He was hot off The Aviator, in his prime as the world's most famous movie star, and fully committed to his playboy image. But with Bar, things seemed a little different. For the first time since Gisele, Leo seemed publicly invested. The relationship was serious enough that he visited Israel multiple times, even meeting with then President Shimon Peres, which made headlines across the globe. And as the world paid attention to the relationship, something else happened. Bar Raffaele's career caught fire. She landed high-profile ad campaigns with luxury brands like Escada, Garnier, and Hurley. But the real game changer came in 2009 when she graced the cover of Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Edition. It's one of the most coveted covers in the modeling world, and one that has launched the careers of several models into mainstream stardom. From there, she became a fixture in the modeling world. Editorials, runways, billboard campaigns, the whole package. By 2012, she had been named the most internationally recognized Israeli model of all time. She even snagged the top spot on Maxim's Hot 100 list. And while the timing of her glow-up may have been chalked up to hard work and timing, the truth is the Leo association didn't hurt. Being photographed on vacation with Leo, walking hand in hand through airports, jetting from Paris to LA to Tel Aviv. That kind of exposure is priceless in an industry built on image and attention. But like Gisele before her, Barr's relationship with Leo came to an end right as she turned 25. The couple had a few on-again, off-again moments. They split briefly in 2009 and got back together later that year, but by 2011, it was done for good. Publicly, the breakup was blamed on distance and busy schedules, the classic Hollywood excuse. But insiders hinted there was more. One source claimed that Barr was ready to settle down and start a family, while Leo was still hesitant to give up his bachelor lifestyle. Sound familiar? The relationship gave her a global profile, front row visibility, and a massive PR boost, all before the age of 26. She may have started as a local star, but after DiCaprio, she was international. And here's where the Leo effect gets really interesting. Just when you thought the whole pattern might fade out, Leo crossed paths with someone who brought a whole different kind of spotlight, one that came with designer heels and Upper East Side drama. You see, in 2011, Blake Lively wasn't just another actress. She was the face of millennial television. Gossip Girl had made her famous. Her fashion was consistently in the spotlight, and her relationship with Penn Badgley kept fans glued to her every move. But when she crossed paths with Leonardo DiCaprio, something shifted. She was 23, he was 36. And for a brief moment, the Blake and Leo romance became the internet's favorite obsession. They met at a high-profile party during the Cannes Film Festival. Blake had just wrapped the Green Lantern film with Ryan Reynolds, a project that hadn't exactly earned her the credibility she was hoping for in Hollywood. She was known as Serena van der Woodsen, the Upper East Side it girl with great hair. But she wanted more. She wanted to transition into film and be taken seriously as a leading lady. And then came Leo. They were spotted traveling through Europe, yacht hopping along the French Riviera, taking romantic strolls in Venice. Unlike some of his other flings, this one was unusually public. Blake wasn't just arm candy. She had personality, status, and a fan base of her own. Paparazzi captured them hand in hand in Monte Carlo, whispering at hotel balconies, and sightseeing on private boats. It looked like a fairy tale for a few months. And during those months, her career took a sharp pivot. Blake started lining up more serious roles. Her fashion partnerships expanded. She landed a campaign with Chanel, becoming the face of the brand's Mademoiselle's handbag line. That kind of endorsement doesn't just happen. It's visibility, momentum, and Leo's name on the headlines didn't hurt. But by the end of the summer, it was over. Reports claimed Blake was the one who pulled away. According to sources, Leo was more invested than usual. He introduced her to his mom, they vacationed with his friends, and yet it ended before Blake even hit 25. Some speculated that Blake realized she didn't need Leo, not long term. She was building her own brand, and almost immediately after the breakup, she began dating Ryan Reynolds, her former co-star and now husband. As for Blake's career, she never looked back. She took on the meatier roles, thrillers like The Shallows, dramas like The Age of Adeline, and the critically praised A Simple Favor. She launched her own business ventures, became a red carpet icon, and rebranded herself as more than just a teen TV star. The girl from Gossip Girl was now a bankable actress, a fashion force, and a businesswoman. And it all pivoted during that Leo chapter. Was it the relationship that opened new doors, or was it a well-timed PR boost that gave her the visibility she needed to jump into her next era? Maybe both. But one thing's clear, Blake Lively's transition from television darling to serious Hollywood player didn't happen by accident, and the Leo effect played a subtle but very real role in that evolution. After Blake, Leo didn't just go back to dating models. He curated a lineup so perfectly stacked, it seemed like he was collecting trading cards. 5 years, 4 women. one playbook that repeated with such precision. And once you understand how it works, you'll realize these relationships might have been his most strategic move of all. The formula was simple. Find a rising Victoria's Secret model between 20 and 23. Date her during a key career threshold. Keep the relationship highly visible but mysteriously private. Then, as if by clockwork, end things just as she hit the 25-year mark or major career milestone. Rinse and repeat. It was the pattern, and this time it became so formulaic that the internet turned it into a meme. Behind the meme was a real trend, one that shaped the careers of several women who came into Leo's orbit, even for just a short time. Let's start with Erin Heatherton. On paper, she was already pretty successful when they met in late 2011. For one, she was already a Victoria's Secret angel at 22 with the wings to prove it, but even angels compete for visibility in a saturated industry. Dating Leo added that extra spotlight. Suddenly, Erin wasn't just a model. She was the model seen biking through New York with Hollywood royalty. During their year together, she landed campaigns with major brands like Versace and Chopard. The press coverage alone boosted their profile globally. When they broke up in 2012, after just about a year, it was blamed on scheduling conflicts, a now familiar excuse in the DiCaprio universe. Next came Toni Garn, a German model just 20 years old when she met Leo in 2013 at the Cannes Film Festival. Because, of course, Leo meets women at Cannes. She had already walked in the Victoria's Secret show, but her global fame surged during their 2-year relationship. Suddenly, she was closing major runway shows, landing fragrance deals, and appearing in top-tier fashion campaigns. The pair were photographed in Paris, Ibiza, and New York. They split in 2014, reconnected briefly in 2017 when Toni was 24, and then went their separate ways for good, like clockwork. Then there was Kelly Rollback, a Sports Illustrated swimsuit model who dated Leo in 2015 when she was 25. Right on the edge, Kelly was making a jump from modeling to acting, and her biggest break came not long after when she landed the role of CJ Parker in the Baywatch movie reboot. The role put her in the public eye in a major way. Whether the Leo connection helped to seal the deal or simply amplified her audition, it clearly helped her keep in the headlines. And with Hollywood, headlines matter. After their split, again reportedly mutual and friendly, she married Walmart heir Stuart Walton and kept a low public profile. Then came Nina Agdal, a Danish model who began dating Leo in 2016 at the age of 24. The relationship was more public than most of his previous flings, with beach photos, dinner dates, and affectionate moments caught by paparazzi. Nina was already known for her 2014 Sports Illustrated swimsuit cover, but her time with Leo boosted her visibility in the American media even further. After their split in 2017, just as she turned 25, she kept up her modeling career, grew her Instagram following, and eventually made headlines again for dating and getting engaged to YouTuber turned boxer Logan Paul. What's striking about all of these women isn't just their beauty or their modeling achievements, it's the timing. They were all on the edge of major career breakthroughs. Leo appeared, the relationship went public, and then suddenly their careers hit another gear. More campaigns, more appearances, more recognition. And then the breakup, usually right around 25. Critics say Leo's pattern is shallow, that he loses interest the second a woman matures or asks for more. But another way to look at it is this. For these women, the relationship was a springboard, a calculated move, not just about love or lust, but leverage. Date Leo, get the bump, move on. The supermodel cycle wasn't just a string of flings. It was a fast track to global recognition. And Leo, knowingly or not, became the gatekeeper to that kind of career momentum. When Camila Morrone entered Leo's life in 2017, she was different from the start. The Leo dating formula had become a running joke in pop culture by then. Young model, under 25, break up before things get serious, rinse and repeat. But Camila, she was different, and she would go on to challenge that timeline in ways no one expected. They reportedly met through mutual friends. Camila was close to Al Pacino, who had dated her mother for several years. The connection gave her early access to the Hollywood elite. But when she dated Leo in late 2017, she wasn't exactly a household name. She had modeled for a few campaigns and appeared in small indie films. She had the look, the connections, and a decent start, but she wasn't quite there yet. She was 20 20. He was 43. Their relationship flew under the radar at first. Unlike some of Leo's flings that lasted just a summer, Camila stuck around. She was seen vacationing with him in Colorado, walking the streets of New York, attending award season parties, not with Leo on the red carpet, but nearby, always present in his circle. The public began to notice, and once they did, Camila started to rise. In 2019, she starred in Mickey and the Bear, a small film that earned her critical acclaim. Critics praised her emotional range, her screen presence, her ability to carry a movie. Suddenly, the conversation about Camila shifted. She wasn't just Leo's girlfriend, she was an actress with real talent. She also appeared in campaigns for Topshop and Vogue, landing major fashion spreads in Elle and Harper's Bazaar. Her name had weight now. Her face was recognizable, and while some tried to discredit her rise by tying it all back to Leo, the work spoke for itself. Then came Daisy Jones and the Six, the Amazon Prime miniseries that changed everything. Based on the best-selling novel, the show followed the rise and fall of a fictional 1970s rock band. Camila played one of the lead roles, and her performance earned her an Emmy nomination. Suddenly, she was more than just a model-turned-actress. She was a legitimate star in her own right. The kind of breakout moment every young actress dreams about. But even as her career climbed, the clock was ticking. By 2022, Camila turned 25. Just a few months later, reports emerged that the couple had quickly broken up. No public statement, no drama, just a quiet to a very long chapter. One of Leo's longest relationships since Gisele. And once again, the pattern held. Camila's case is one of the most compelling because she stayed long enough to build real traction. She wasn't a fling, she was a partner. And during those years, she transitioned from obscurity to credibility. In hindsight, the Leo effect worked again, just on a longer fuse. But then Gigi Hadid walked in, and for once, Leo wasn't one doing the elevating. You see, when Leonardo DiCaprio was linked to Gigi Hadid in late 2022, something felt different. Gigi wasn't just another rising model looking for exposure. She wasn't under 25, and she didn't need Leo's help. At 28 years old, Gigi was already one of the most famous models in the world, a runway regular, the face of multiple global campaigns, and a fashion mogul in her own right. She had graced the covers of Vogue, Harper's Bazaar, and Elle, hosted the American Music Awards, and launched her own clothing line. She wasn't aspiring, she had arrived, which is exactly what made their short-lived relationship so surprising, and to some fans, kind of thrilling. After years of watching Leo follow the same formula with fresh-faced 20-somethings, here he was, breaking the rule. Rumors first sparked when the two were seen sitting together at a New York Fashion Week after party in September 2022. At first, no one really believed it. Gigi Hadid? Leo's type had always been a lot younger and frankly less accomplished. But over the following weeks, the sightings continued. Intimate dinners, private parties, cozy moments in the corner of exclusive events. And although they were never fully Instagram official, sources close to both parties confirmed the romance. Leo was reportedly very into her, with insiders saying he liked that she was more mature, independent, and had her own things going on. And she did. At the time, Gigi was focused on raising her daughter, her child with singer Zayn Malik, while simultaneously managing her fashion line, guest editing major magazines, and walking high-profile runways. She wasn't just Leo's equal in fame, she may have had more control over her brand than he did over his. The internet quickly caught fire. Some joked that Gigi Hadid dating Leo was proof he was finally aging. Others said maybe, just maybe, Leo had finally found someone who didn't need him, and that was the appeal. She wasn't just chasing clout. She already had it. But just as quickly as it started, it ended. By February of 2023, sources confirmed that Gigi and Leo were no longer seeing each other. One insider put it simply, she hadn't seen him for a while. She just decided that she was done with him. They are at very different places in life. She prioritizes being a mom. It wasn't messy. There was no scandal, no tabloid drama, no press tour story. It just fizzled. And that's what made this chapter so different from the rest. Because with Gigi, there was no career to launch, no Leo glow up necessary. In fact, if anything, her name added credibility to his. For once, the power dynamic seemed balanced and even tilted in her favor. And while they didn't last, Gigi Hadid's brief detour into DiCaprio's territory was a moment that said a lot more about about him than it did about her. It was the first time the formula cracked. But just like we saw with Gigi, the Leo playbook that worked flawlessly for decades suddenly faced a new challenge when Victoria Ceretti entered the picture. Unlike most women in Leo's dating history, Victoria wasn't an up-and-comer when they connected in 2023. Sure, she was not as successful as Gigi was, but she was undoubtedly fashion royalty. By the time Leo entered her life, she walked in over 400 runway shows, graced 24 Vogue covers, and established herself as a muse for the industry's biggest names. But here's where it gets interesting. Despite her established success, the Leo effect still kicked in. After they began dating, Victoria leveled up to Victoria's Secret angel status and strutted in the 2024 Victoria's Secret fashion show. At the 2025 Met Gala, she also commanded attention in a striking Moncler meets EE72 pinstripe mini dress with sparkly diamonds around her eyes. What makes Victoria truly unique in the Leo Girlfriend Museum isn't just her pre-Leo trophy case. It's her refreshing transparency about dating Hollywood's most eligible commitment phobe. In a Vogue France interview, she basically admitted how annoying it is to suddenly be reduced to DiCaprio's girlfriend when she spent years building her own identity and career, which basically translates to, yes, I know about the Leo effect, and no, I don't plan on being reduced to a footnote in his dating history. At 26, she's already survived the dreaded quarter-century mark that seemed to govern Leo's past relationships. She arrived to the relationship with a career that made Leo's assistance about as necessary as sunscreen at midnight. And most shockingly, she seems fully aware of the very dynamics we're discussing. So where does this leave our theory? Is Victoria the exception that proves the rule, or has she simply found Leo's relationship settings and switched them from temporary to might actually stick around? Perhaps the truth is more nuanced than either extreme. Maybe the Leo effect isn't solely about launching careers from obscurity to stardom, it's simply an amplifier that works at any level. Even for someone like Victoria, who could already book any job in fashion with a single text message, dating Leo unlocks a different level of fame. The kind that gets you mentioned in videos analyzing Leonardo DiCaprio's dating history, for instance. The question isn't whether Victoria is just another passenger on the Leo career escalator, or if she's the one who finally gets him to the relationship finish line. The more fascinating possibility is that she might be both, savvy enough to leverage the DiCaprio publicity machine while being established enough to maintain her own identity when the cameras turn elsewhere. After 2 decades of watching the Leo effect work its magic, perhaps we're finally witnessing its most evolved form, a relationship where both parties know exactly what game they're playing, and they're both playing to win. But I want to hear what you think. Do you think Leo's relationship with Victoria will finally be the one to lock him down? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And if you liked this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and we will catch you on the next one.